This podcast is sponsored by ScienceBasedLearning.com. Discover your passion for languages with our innovative ebook, audiobook, and video system. Maximize retention using spaced repetition. Start your journey today.
How code switching boosts your motivation in adult language learning. Discover how code switching impacts language acquisition and motivation to help adult learners confidently master a new language. How code switching influences your language learning motivation. When adult learners set out to learn a new language, they often focus on grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. But there's another fascinating phenomenon that quietly shapes language acquisition and motivation: code switching. If you've ever found yourself switching between your native language and the language you're learning, whether in conversation, thoughts, or even in your study notes, you're experiencing code switching firsthand. In this post, we'll explore what code switching really is, why it matters in adult language learning, and how understanding it can boost your motivation and accelerate your progress. What is code switching? Code switching refers to the practice of alternating between two or more languages or language varieties within a conversation or even a single sentence. Imagine chatting with a friend and slipping in a word or phrase from the language you're learning because it just fits better. Or maybe your brain naturally toggles between languages to fill in gaps when you don't know a specific term. Far from being a mistake or sign of confusion, code switching is a natural part of bilingual communication and is even a sophisticated linguistic tool. People who code switch often do so to express concepts more clearly, emphasize a point, or connect on a cultural level. Why does code switching matter in adult language learning? For adult language learners, understanding code switching goes beyond just recognizing what you're doing. It helps harness your brain's natural language behavior to improve motivation and effectiveness. Relieves anxiety and pressure. Switching between languages can give your brain brief mental breaks. Rather than leaving you stuck on a word or phrase, a quick switch allows you to keep the conversation flowing. This reduces frustration and helps maintain your confidence. Strengthens neural connections. When your brain toggles between languages, it's exercising cognitive flexibility. This mental workout is linked with enhanced executive functions like better attention and problem-solving skills, which can make language learning feel more manageable and enjoyable. Boosts real-life communication. In many real-world situations, especially in multicultural environments, code switching is the norm. Becoming comfortable with this flexibility prepares you to communicate effectively beyond the classroom. Code switching and motivation, a hidden link. One of the critical factors in sustained adult language learning is motivation. It's well known that staying motivated over months or years is the real challenge. Guess what? Code switching can play a role here too. Switching between your native and target languages can help reduce the fear of making mistakes, a top motivation killer. When learners acknowledge that mixing languages isn't wrong, but a practical communication strategy, they feel freer to experiment and take risks. This positive mindset fuels motivation because language learning becomes less intimidating. Moreover, code switching often emerges naturally in social situations. This means learners get immediate feedback and social reinforcement, which further encourages continued learning and practice. That social connection, fueled by mixing languages, creates a more enjoyable and meaningful learning experience. How to use code switching strategically for better language learning. While code switching happens naturally, you can also use it intentionally to strengthen your language acquisition. Pair new vocabulary. When learning new words, try saying the word in your native language and then immediately in the target language. This creates a mental bridge to help retention. Switch to clarify. If you're speaking with a language partner or tutor and get stuck, briefly switch to your native language to explain your thought or ask for clarification. This keeps conversations flowing, preventing discouragement. Mix languages in writing. Use code switching in your journal or notes. Write a sentence in your target language and then paraphrase it in your native tongue. This technique reinforces meaning and grammar. Simpler for complex ideas. When faced with complex topics, use your native language for abstract parts, but practice explaining simpler, concrete ideas in the target language to build confidence. Remember, the goal isn't to become stuck in code switching forever. Over time, you want to gradually increase your ability to communicate fully in the target language. But embracing code switching as a tool along the way can ease the learning process. linking science and motivation in language learning. The science of language learning continuously shows us how the brain works best with regular, spaced practice and meaningful use of language in context. The natural mental toggling involved in code switching aligns with these principles by activating multiple areas of the brain, both for the native and target languages. If you'd like to understand more about effective ways of adult language learning, incorporating these science-backed insights, check out sciencebasedlearning.com. They offer a simple ebook, audiobook, and video language learning system combined with an online practice app that uses the science behind spaced repetition to maximize your learning and retention. This kind of approach can complement your natural use of code switching and boost your motivation by showing measurable progress. Final thoughts. Code switching is often misunderstood, but for adult language learners, it's a powerful natural ally in the journey. Rather than suppressing this behavior, embracing and strategically using it can reduce learning anxiety, make communication more effective, and keep motivation strong. So next time you find yourself blending languages, remember that it's not a setback. It's a skill that's rooted in the brain's flexible approach to language acquisition. Harness it wisely, and it can turn into a valuable tool on your path to fluency.